when you work through loss and grief and you get to the point to where you can have a purpose, then grief is not for nothing. Loss is not for nothing.
Welcome to the In the Arena podcast. My name is Jared Miguez, a co-host on this podcast that brings you the inspiring stories of our clients who are leaders and innovators across different industries in Southeast Louisiana. They are visionary entrepreneurs, savvy real estate professionals, media creators, military business owners, and community champions. And we are going to showcase the remarkable achievements and share their personal stories. Tune in for insightful conversations, valuable lessons, and motivational stories that are going to reveal their secrets to success and offer you insights to help you on your own path. Welcome to In the Arena podcast. Welcome to the In the Arena podcast. We're really excited to be talking about one of our big nonprofits in the area that we support and that Megan supports, and we've supported them 2 years in a row through Megan, supported you guys, so I'm excited to hear. So why don't you say who your name, what the nonprofit is, and what y'all are all about.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me this morning. I'm Marie Gregory, and I am the founder of the Brook It Forward Foundation. We put together the essentials of a birthday party in like a really beautiful little box. So it looks really like a present when the child gets it. And each box contains what you would need for an at-home birthday party. So it's got cake mix and icing. It's got presents, party plates, candles, napkins. We have birthday cards. We include a gift card because what we figured out a couple of years ago was with the economy getting a little tighter, a gift's not much of a gift if you get it and you honestly can't afford oil or butter or eggs to make a cake.
That doesn't fit in the box.
Yeah, right. Or it goes bad before it would get to you. Yeah. So we include a gift card so that they can do that. If they don't need those things, then they can get ice cream or buy a frozen pizza. Yeah. And then we take those boxes and we bring them to currently about 11 organizations across 19 parishes and one county in Florida. Most of them are children's advocacy centers. So if you're not familiar with your children's advocacy center, when a child's experienced sexual abuse, that's where they go to. They have a forensic side where they walk them through the criminal process to hopefully bring their perpetrator to justice. And then there's a healing side. And our local CAC at Hope House, they've got a national program that brings children who come in with a level of PTSD that will rival a vet coming home from war to what I would consider the normal PTSD level that all of us deal with. Mm-hmm. And they do that for like 93% of the kids that go through their program. Wow. Yes, it's amazing. So we are blessed to work with those kinds of organizations. We work with the CASA program at YSB, which is the court-appointed special advocates. Mm-hmm. Those are volunteers who go in and work with and represent the child through the process when a child's been taken into foster care by the state. Mm-hmm. So, if you're a family in need of services, if you're a child in need of care, you're going to have a CASA rep who's going into court and telling the judge what they're seeing. Yeah. So these are the children that we want to honor them on their special day, and just remind them that hey, life is tough right now, but you are so loved. Yeah. And hopefully that just plants a little seed in their heart, so that when they grow up, they can brook it forward, pay it forward. Yeah. Whatever it may be.
So the boxes are just, it is to celebrate the kids' birthday parties, these kids that have gone through these traumatic experiences, and y'all are actually providing this to the organizations in parishes that are taking care of these kids that have gone through these types of traumas, right?
Yeah.
And so how long have you been doing this for?
We started in June of 2019.
Okay. 5 years?
Yep. 5 years.
Nice.
We just celebrated 5 years in June. We started with 20 boxes, and they were not this cute when we started. We started literally with a plastic shoebox. And back up a second, I'll tell you how we even got the idea. Yeah. So on March 16th, 2017, my 17-year-old daughter, Brooke, was killed in a car accident. And we knew from the very beginning that we wanted to do something to carry her light, to honor her memory. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know when or how we would find it, but we knew that when we found it, we would know. And 2 years after her accident, right before what would have been her 20th birthday, I saw this beautiful story about a little girl named Bella in Kentucky who was making these birthday boxes. And her mother was a school resource counselor. And so her mother would identify children in the school who couldn't afford birthday parties and would share them. Well, at that time, my husband and I were living in Ohio because of his job. And I had the blessing of meeting Bella in person. She was in third grade, and she lived in Kentucky, not far from us in Ohio. I drove over, had dinner with her and her mom, and I asked her, I said, Bella, how did you come up with this? And she said, well, and she had the cutest little accent. She was just adorable. She said, well, when I was in first grade, I was talking about my birthday party, and this little boy said he had never had a birthday party, and that broke my heart. And I went, that breaks my heart. And I had asked them to do 20 boxes in honor of Brooke's birthday. Nice. And Mom was like, we're not a nonprofit. We're not set up for this. Just make 20 boxes and hand them out. So we put together 20 boxes. And then I was like, what am I going to do with these boxes? Where are they going to go? And we have a special connection with the CACs in general. We have family members who've been abused and disclosed and have used those services. So it was natural for me to reach out to Thomas and say, Thomas, can you use these boxes? Thomas is the director at Hope House.
Hope House, yeah.
And he said, Marie, most of our kids in foster care, you don't even know what this would mean to them. I said, okay. So on what would have been Brooke's 20th birthday, June 12th of 2019, we gave him 20 boxes. And I looked at him, I said, how many do you really need? He goes, we serviced 400 kids this year. Cool. I said, you got it. And that's how we started. That first year, I think we gave about 190 boxes to Hope House. Over the years, we've slowly added other CACs and other organizations that serve kids in need, and we're knocking on the door of 2,200 boxes at this point.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Across the state of Louisiana, and then y'all are making an impact in Florida too.
Yes, yeah. So we're in like 6 CACs and then 4 other organizations, and we cover 19 parishes with those groups, and then. There is an organization in Florida that does this amazing work. They're called Children in Crisis. And it's like a little foster care compound is the best way I can explain it. Mm-hmm. They have 5 houses that kind of line up in a row with a common backyard. They've got all of the support services for the families, the foster families there. The foster parents live in the houses, and the children move in and out and as needed. But one of the beautiful things they're able to do is they're able to keep sibling groups together, which is a big deal in foster care. Because a lot of times when kids are taken into foster care, first they obviously look for a family member if the current home situation isn't safe. But then if they don't have a family member, they get someone from the foster care system. And it's not always possible to keep brothers and sisters together. And what a trauma on top of trauma, if you can't stay together. So a friend of ours introduced us to them, and it works. We can make that work to get them boxes each year, what they need. And
so how do who makes the boxes? Do y'all get together and make the boxes together as a group?
We have volunteers come to our office. We have groups like Megan for a couple of years. She has celebrated her real estate birthday by doing a collection drive and donating those things to us. Other groups like Junior League is doing a drive right now. They're going to put together boxes.
Nice.
Companies celebrate their corporate birthdays with a team building event and put boxes together.
Put boxes together.
Yeah. So what we do, like if a group wanted to do that and actually put the boxes together, we'll give them a list of the basics. Like, you guys gather these things, and then we'll bring you the actual box, some merch, branded stuff, and then we have some other little things. Like one of the things we do try to do through this, because we are a faith-based organization, is we want to introduce children to the love of Christ. So we include like a little wooden cross that we get. We order these from Israel. They're made from olive wood.
Yeah, I can tell it's right.
And so we include those. And then the other reminder that we include in every box, the date of Brooke's accident was March 16th, 2017. So we include the verse, John 3:16, 17, on the back. And if you're familiar with John 3:16, it's, for God so loved the world. They sent his one and only son. So, it's like, I think of it as in terms of, on my very darkest day, God reminded me in a very tangible way that I was not alone, that he was going to make good of what had happened if I would just follow and listen and obey. And I just can't think of a better way to just include in the box a reminder, man, this might be your darkest day, or yesterday may have been your darkest day, but today is about you, and you are loved, and you are a special child of God. And there's a way to make good of it. So,
And you're carrying on her legacy by continuing and sharing that with other people, which I think is great.
Thank you.
We, like legacy is a big part of our organization. It's one of our values that we put out there. It's just, how do you want to be remembered and what impact you want to make on the world? I think that you're living out her legacy by carrying this on and telling her story, and you taking a tragic accident and spreading the love of Christ, like you said. This thing is great. So how do you find people like Megan to tag along with? How do people get involved? What made you get involved, Megan?
So I met you at a women's group, at Professional Women, and I think it was around the scholarship time, and you told the story, and you let everybody in the room know about her mission, and I love birthdays. I mean, who doesn't?
Right.
Who doesn't? And then when you think about a kid who can't have one, or doesn't have the means to have one, or doesn't have the support system around them to throw them a birthday, that's really crushing. So that just spoke to me, and I was like, we got, what can I do? What can I do? How can we help? How can I get involved? And here we are. That was about 3 or 4 years later. I didn't realize that you had just started Brook It Forward around that time. So here we are.
Well, I think one of the things about, and I think from the real estate world, sometimes whenever you're looking from an outsider perspective, it's hard to be able to tell the difference in value between one agent and another until you really get to know them a little bit. And I think one of the biggest things that attract people to different real estate agents is being able to share common values with them. And this is the type of organization and group that you can get on board with, that people now know that you're involved with and you support. And there's going to be people out there in the world that are going to want to do business with you because they're going to realize how good of an agent you are, but also the fact that you support organizations locally like this that they can relate to is going to set you apart as a real estate agent. And I think more when people come to me asking me, how can I grow my business? How can I make an impact? It's like, that's how you do it. You start giving back to things like this that you can show support for and see how, and other people will see that and be attracted to you because of those things. So I think it's great that you're doing that and promoting it and adding value to other people.
It's not just real estate we're doing here.
Yeah, 100%. It's a community we're trying to support.
It is. Yeah. It is.
And I'm constantly humbled by people like Megan, because when Megan first got involved, she had Jonah come over and do these beautiful videos that I've been able to use in the organization. And, a nonprofit is a business, except it's a business that doesn't typically make a lot of money or have a lot of money to do a lot of extras. So it's really impactful when somebody from the community steps up and says, hey, I love what you're doing, and I'm going to invest my own time, my own resources to help you. So it's...
I want to let everybody know what the mission is.
Celebrate some birthdays.
Yes.
And so if other people wanted to get on board and learn more about Brook It Forward and they wanted to get involved, because I'm sure that after this, a lot of people are going to say it's a great idea. Because, it's a team building exercise for us. Our company retreat is in January. our company Christmas party type thing we do in January, celebrate our birthday, which is around January 15th, and just have a get together and celebrate what we've done in 2024 because we'll have it in 2025. And so I think it'd be a great team building and exercise for us to do to give back to the community by doing this. So how do businesses get in touch with you to find out how they can make an impact?
You can reach out to us on our website, obviously. So brookitforward.org is the website. We've got contact forms there. You can email me at marie@brookitforward.org. And, we'll connect with you, figure out, what your group size is, what your needs are, your plans, and help structure something that works for your group.
Yeah.
Or you're like, for example, if it's a school that wants to get involved, we had Mandeville Middle School a few months ago did a drive, and they had their little communications team do a little promo, and then they gathered about $2,000 worth of stuff, to go in the boxes, and that makes a difference.
The supplies drive is always seems like a good impact into the organization because that's where and the manpower to put the supplies in the boxes.
But we do make that easy, the supply part of it. We've got an Amazon wish list that on the website you can link to it because we are working with limited real estate, and the idea is we want to make things impactful. So on that list, even if you don't purchase from the list, you'll get an idea of what will fit in the box.
Gotcha.
Because we want it to be special. We want it, to be full and, rememberable.
Yeah.
What about kids' parties? I keep thinking, like, my daughters, that would be so fun to get a group of girls together and do this at their birthday party.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Yes. So actually one of my, big dreams for Brook It Forward is that eventually we'll have a space of our own. Right now we're in a very small, 300 square foot space, but eventually have a nice big space where we can have people come in. But as part of that, have, of course, because we need a kitchen, we do birthdays, right? But have it as event space where families could come in and have a birthday party and have the kids instead of, or in addition to bringing gifts for the birthday child, bring items for the boxes. You could bake and decorate cupcakes there and kind of have.
I can tell you one thing is my kids don't need any more toys or
this would
any
be a
more things in my house.
gift people could bring.
Oh my
And to
goodness!
teach them philanthropy and a way
100%.
to
And they would be
touch
so
parts of
excited.
our community in a way that they don't know about yet because they're so young.
Yeah.
For sure.
Learn about giving back. Actually, my daughter Megan, my older daughter, her birthday is in January, so she would get all these Christmas presents, and then in January she gets all these birthday presents, and I literally would just go hide half of them in a closet, and come June, July, when Brooke's birthday was in June, and Brooke's getting everything, and Meg's kind of like, oh look here, something for you too.
It's funny how that works. You get every kid you have to celebrate everybody's birthday at the same time, just because they don't want to be frustrated they don't get any presents. So what's the long-term goal for Brook It Forward? I mean, if you're already in Florida, I mean, what was your tie to Florida? You have to be trying to expand beyond Louisiana.
We were just talking about this. Well, so I will tell you, when I first started 5 years ago, my 5-year goal, and I haven't achieved it yet, but God has a funny way of timing, because I'll tell you my 3-year goal that didn't come to pass until next week. My 5-year-old goal was to cover the 16 children's advocacy centers in Louisiana. Okay. I haven't gotten there yet, but I have added, not quite. No, I'm 5 shy of 16 organizations, so
That's pretty good.
Admirable.
But it would be to expand. There are actually 1,100 children's advocacy centers across the nation. The average age of a child served by CAC is about 9. So think about being a 9-year-old little girl or a 9-year-old little boy. There's a lot of impact that can be made. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what God has in plan. But I'm open to taking it wherever He wants it to go.
So how much does it take to fill that box up? How much money?
This is about $60 to put together the box. And that includes the $25 gift card that we put in there. And it varies a little, but we do boxes from age 1 to age 18. What's really funny is not funny, haha, but funny, like stop and think about it. When we first started, we didn't break them down into genders or age groups. Now we've got 4 age groups, genders and whatnot. But whether you were a 2-year-old little girl or an 18-year-old young man, you got the same box. And the feedback that I got from the people who handed out those boxes was the same, whether you were a 2-year-old little girl or an 18-year-old little boy, which tells you it has nothing to do with what's inside that box.
Yeah,
it has everything to do with
Feeling loved.
you, exactly.
And the box
you
itself.
remembered me.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care if icing is yellow, pink, or blue.
Yep.
It's going to taste like big old pile of
Man
sugar.
likes to eat, right?
I don't mind if it's chocolate or white. I'm going to be happy with it.
Bringing
either
up the
way.
flavor of the cake.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, we would love to be a part of it in whatever way we can do to help. I mean, not only are we going to every year offer our office to Megan to be able to put the boxes in so that we can continue to do that, we're going to put it on our menu of nonprofits for people to walk in.
I love that idea.
I do too.
And then, you know, that, so I mean, just to let people who are listening know, if somebody's sent to do a notary, just a notary only type of a deal here, we're not going to charge them for it. We're going to ask them to donate to the nonprofits in the area that we support, and Brook It Forward is definitely going to be on the list. So we'll definitely have that on the list. Hopefully we can fill up a couple of boxes just from that. Because
that's amazing. And I wish when I was an attorney, I had actually thought of that, because that would have been just a great way to give back, an easy way to give back to the community. Whether you're an attorney or any other type of business, there's lots of different businesses that you can incorporate that kind of option for your customers. So my 3-year goal with Brook It Forward was to have a board of directors. That did not happen 2 years ago. But next week, I will be instilling our very first board.
Oh, nice.
Megan will be part of that.
very
I'm so
good.
excited.
I know. It's going to be such a great time.
So that's part of building a legacy is we're in a phase of how do I set up Brook It Forward so that when Marie is no longer here, when people are like, who's this Brooke person? It won't matter, because kids will still be getting birthday boxes. And it just, for as long as we can make it happen.
Well, congratulations, both of you.
I know.
That sounds
Very
exciting.
It's exciting for the organization. It really, really is.
Very
It's
good.
a whole nother level.
It's like sending your kid to college. It is. You know,
Next level.
It's been my baby for, you know, a while, and now I've got to share my baby with the world and let the world influence my baby. So it's exciting.
That's one of the when we set up a lot of nonprofits for our clients, and the hardest thing to do is to identify who's going to be on your board of directors. That's ultimately going to be able to make the decisions on how the nonprofit's going to function, because you're taking it out of your hands and having people that you've got to be able to trust. And I think you've probably realized that you and Megan and the other people who are on the board, y'all align with the same values, and they get your purpose and your vision. And it's hard if you haven't been able to articulate that and have people come in that are going to run your operation of your company or have a big impact on it that don't see what you see, and they don't necessarily know what impact you want to have and how the legacy you want to carry forward for Brooke. So things great. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, it's if I had done it on Marie's time, I would have had a completely different board. Yeah. The board that Marie got instead for Brook It Forward is amazing. And we have executives from Chevron. We've got other community leaders, business owners. We've got some younger people on the board, which I think is really important to bring that young voice to an organization that serves young children. I mean, we serve kids. You know, I'm not 20. Y'all can tell. You know, so I need that influence. I need to be reminded of, okay, what's cool with the kids these days? What kind of things should we be doing? And honestly, even from a business perspective, you know, having people on the board who are active in business and know kind of what direction things are going in, because you know, running a nonprofit is like it's running a business. It's just
Absolutely.
you know. So Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler had worked on the book, you know, like the 5 stages of grief. And I honestly forget what the 5 are, but it's like anger and denial and all that stuff. And when I first read that book, I'm like, this doesn't really hit the point. And then later, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross has since passed away, And David Kessler wrote a book, The Sixth Stage of Grief, which is purpose. And so when you work through loss and grief and you get to the point to where you can have a purpose, then grief is not for nothing. Loss is not for nothing. And there's another fabulous book. I actually have a blog that I did when I first lost Brooke, that I have some resources there. And one of them is Lament for a Son by Nicholas, and I cannot pronounce his last name. It's like Wolf or something. But the book is about Yathik, and he lost his son to a hiking accident. The son was 23 years old, and he's a Christian philosopher. And one of the things that he wrote in there that really stuck with me was, if he let his son's death, or if I let Brooke's death be for nothing, then Satan wins. And I'm a not today Satan kind of girl. And so, it's not always easy, but
Pour yourself into your purpose.
yeah, I mean, when you have a purpose, and even if you don't have grief, if you've got a purpose that's bigger than yourself, things are easier.
It just keeps you motivated. Get up and go and go. And I can imagine that's what gets you through the grief, is just to get up and do something productive that you can set action items and focus on. That's not the pain that you're feeling.
Yeah, and when you give, you're really the one who is blessed at the end of the day. You're blessing others, but if you've ever seen, like, been in a restaurant and like paid somebody's bill behind the scenes or something. Look at you, you're grinning ear to ear because you know how good that feels. Mm-hmm. They have no clue. You're not looking for the glory. You're not looking for them to come over and pat your back and build up your ego. You just feel good because you got to do something for somebody. And Brook It Forward's a little bit like that, in the sense that we don't get to see the kids we serve. Privacy concerns and whatnot. We bring the boxes to those volunteers who bring them directly to the children. We just get the feedback that they love them, and that's what keeps us going. We know we're making a difference in their life. You can always tell people whenever they have an inclination in their heart or their gut that they're in a tough spot, then you're probably, even if other people don't know it, you know that you're in a tough spot. But if you're doing God's work, or you're adding value, or you're making an impact, you'll know it and you can feel it. There's no doubt. Yeah, because it's easy, and not easy in that there's not hard work involved. Because no matter what you do, it involves hard work. But it's easy in the sense that you decide, okay, now's the time I'm being called to put together a board. And 7 amazing people knock on your door and say, "Please let me be on your board." That's the kind of easy that when you're walking in the steps that you're supposed to be taking, and you're obeying the call that you hear from God. He lays it out for you, and the same is with grief. If you've I'm going to say this, and I hope I don't offend anybody. I don't know how anybody goes through the loss of a loved one without faith. I don't know, because I can promise you, if I had not been in maybe the strongest place I'd ever been in my faith when I lost Brooke, I would be curled up in a corner. We would not be talking today. There would be no carrying her light. I would be curled up in a corner. So that faith is, you just can't. It's everything. That's how you get through. That's how you find your purpose.
Appreciate you coming on. It was really good talking to you and hearing your story.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share.